It's 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you in the Herndon Chevrolet studios. And Chris, we're going to jump right into it this morning. We have a guest on the Love Chevrolet phone lines, head coach of South Florence High School right here locally. That is Drew Marlowe. And for those that are unfamiliar, South Florence is where not only in LaNorris Sellers, now expected to be quarterback of the Gamecocks this upcoming fall went, but also his brother, Jaden Sellers, who is committed to the Gamecocks as of right now. So welcome in, Coach. First of all, thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time for us this morning. And, I know we're very early on in the offseason, but how does it feel knowing that one of your former players, as of right now, is projected to be the guy for the Gamecocks when the fall rolls around?
Oh, it's great, man. We're really excited, pulling for him. The one thing that I know about LaNorris is that he's going to come in, he's going to compete, and he's going to give it his very best. And it's just the kind of kid he is, and can't wait for see him playing this fall.
Coach Marlowe, Chris Clark here. Thanks again for joining us, especially on a short notice. I know you got a lot going on, so appreciate you making time. I want to go back to earlier in LaNorris's high school career, and I think I told him this last time I talked to him, probably told you as well. The first time I saw him play live was, I suppose that was his junior year before he got hurt against Irmo, and you guys went up to Irmo and I think hung 63, and he had a phenomenal game before he got hurt. But when did you know that, okay, this kid has a chance to be, a generational type talent as a quarterback?
The Irmo game was certainly one of them. I mean, he threw for probably close to 300 yards, and I think rushed for maybe 200 yards against a very good Irmo team. Honestly, though, I mean, it was probably when he came back from his injury. And, when he came back from his injury, he just somehow he'd gotten stronger. Somehow his release was better. Somehow, he just was just even better. The way he threw the ball, the way he ran, the way that he could process information. I thought that the kid had a chance to be as good as anybody wanted to be. What blew my mind about him was just how late, well, everybody was on him, and how some just never even, really gave him a look. So it was early on, but it was also kind of when he came back from his injury, just, different guy. I mean, I hadn't been doing it for real long. This past year was year 15, but just never seen a kid that big run that well and throw the ball, not just a big arm, but accuracy, and he didn't miss throws like ever. So, special player.
Did you ever get any explanation? Was there any rhyme or reason as to why? Obviously, he landed in state here at South Carolina, big SEC Power 5 school, and he had other Power 5 offers, of course, but I'm with you where you look at kind of the offer list, and it was hard to believe that everybody in the country didn't offer LaNorris Sellers. So, I mean, have you heard any of that sense of whoops, or, it's not like you guys won state, you've been in the playoffs every year. He was putting up huge numbers. It's kind of hard for me to put my finger on. Have you been able to glean what may have happened there?
No, not really. Now, I will tell you, the years prior, his junior year, the 6 years before that, South Florence had a losing record.
That's right.
So no good. And, the year before that, his sophomore year, was my first year at South Florence, and we went 2-6, and we were one of the worst football teams to ever play in this state, and so that didn't help him a whole lot. I think he started out on fire, and then he got hurt on the first series of his 6th game. So he only had 5 games. And so I think a lot of people sort of hesitated from that. Probably there wasn't a lot of film on him. But, I firmly believe that LaNorris is where he's supposed to be. And if LaNorris hadn't gotten hurt, he might have been somewhere else. And maybe that's one of those times where the Lord works in mysterious ways. And hate it for him that he missed a lot of his junior year. Hate it for us too, because we'd probably want to state again that year. But I think that things worked out the way that they were supposed to.
Again, talking to Drew Marlowe, the head coach at South Florence High School, coach the Sellers brothers over there. When we talk about this offseason, and it's going to be an important one for LaNorris, says, he's going to be fighting for the starting job here at Carolina. You have Robbie Ashford coming out of the transfer portal. That's certainly going to, give him a run for his money. When you talk about handling pressure, what do you know about LaNorris Sellers and how he's able to handle things like that for where he can, put in his best effort this offseason, hopefully win the job, and be a starting quarterback in a very daunting SEC this upcoming fall?
Yeah, I think LaNorris has really, over time, developed a very quiet confidence about himself. I think he believes in his ability, and I think that LaNorris is such a humble kid, so, if he's hearing me talking right now, he's probably going to shake his head, but I don't care. LaNorris, he's a humble guy. He's a super hard worker, but deep down, I think LaNorris believes that he's going to be the starting quarterback next year, and it doesn't matter who they bring in, he's going to beat them, right? Because he has that type of mindset, which is what you have to have in order to play at all at the SEC level, but certainly in order to be a quarterback. I think he has just this sense about him that he's going to do everything he can. He's going to prepare to be the starter, and he's going to be the starter.
Coach, when you I'm sure you paid attention to LaNorris, played some as a true freshman last season at South Carolina, and I can think of, a handful of plays that he made in the games that, they went viral. Call it like it is. You think about the touchdown pass that he threw where he kind of scrambled out to the right and threw, a dart to the back of the end zone to Tyshawn Russell. You think about the run that he had against Vanderbilt. When you see those plays, do you just go, are you even surprised, or you just say, yeah, I've seen that a bunch, like I'm not surprised at all?
Yeah, honestly, it does. It doesn't really surprise me. When we played in the Shrine Bowl last year, that's the first time that I've gotten to just watch LaNorris play, right? It's totally different when you're coaching in the game and you're calling plays, and you take a lot of things for granted. But, in the Shrine Bowl, even during practice during the Shrine Bowl, when I was just sitting there just watching him, I just thought to myself, he's even better than I remember him being, just 2 weeks ago. So watching and just seeing him doing it as a fan is both exciting and nerve-wracking and all those sorts of things. But nothing he's done on TV he hasn't done anything yet that we hadn't seen before.
Again, talking to Drew Marlowe, head coach at South Florence High School, and you can speak to LaNorris's teachability, and this past season coming in as a true freshman, getting the opportunity to sit behind a guy like Spencer Rattler, who we've been talking about these past couple days, wins the MVP of the Senior Bowl, is expected to be, a mid-round draft pick here coming up in a couple months. What do you think he was able to take from being able to sit behind a guy like that for his first full season in college?
Yeah, very, very valuable. The first season, a lot of people probably, LaNorris started as a freshman in high school. He was barely 14 years old, and so he's been the starter. And when you're the starter and you're the guy, you don't have much opportunity to learn, because when you're thrown in the fire, you're trying to survive, and then you're trying to improve, and then you've got the weight of being a leader and carrying the team, and you don't get time to focus on your development, maybe is a good way to say it. And so I think that has probably been very valuable for LaNorris this year to not be the guy, to not have the pressure of leading a team, but to really and truly sort of focus on himself. He did not have to lead this past year as most quarterbacks are asked to do, and he was really able to learn and develop and get better, and to watch Spencer and the way that he led and the way that he managed different situations, right? Whether it's getting pressured, getting sacked a lot, or the good moments, having a good game. He got to see those two things. And then, of course, from, a football standpoint, just watching the way he plays, and every quarterback has a different style and different way to play. LaNorris won't play the same way he played probably. But having that time to really focus on his development, I think, is something that's very valuable, that will prove to be very valuable for him.
Gamecocks also have a commitment from another one of your current players, and that's, of course, LaNorris's brother, Jaden Sellers, wide receiver. And I know he had an injury that kept him out part of this season, Coach, but I got a chance to see Jaden last summer at South Carolina's camp, and was really impressed with him. His competitiveness. He can run. He could kind of played bigger than his size, frankly, is what I thought as well. But just give me, if you will, your perspective on him, just watching him grow and develop and what he does well for you.
Yeah, Jaden has incredible speed, incredible quickness, and is just he explodes off the line. When he gets the ball in his hand, he has a chance to score. I mean, when the ball touches his hand, he's got a chance to score. And unfortunately, just like LaNorris, we lost Jaden at the exact same time, almost in the exact same spot on the field, for the season. And so we only played five games this year for us, but really has just developed. He is such an explosive kid, and fortunately now with ACLs, it was a clean tear. I have no doubt that he'll come back, and it'll be one of those things where you don't even know what happened. But his explosiveness is at the level that you would expect to see from an SEC player.
Coach, we're a good ways away from football season starting, but what's the preview for what South Florence is going to look like this fall?
A lot different. We graduated 29 seniors this past year, 25 seniors the year before, and those were the guys that really had to do the hard work in establishing a pretty good foundation for South Florence football. Now we're moving into a time where this year's senior class, they don't remember the 2-6. They don't remember the losing seasons. All they've ever really known is winning. So one of the things that we're really having to focus on this offseason and want to make sure it doesn't become a problem is we don't forget and we don't take for granted the work that it takes to win. And, that's something that we're really, really focusing on right now. We've got some really good players coming back. We've got a lot of holes we got to fill, but I'm confident that if we continue to work and really focus on ourselves and focus on improving every day, that we'll be able to have another good season this upcoming year.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you taking a little bit of your time for us this morning. If we don't talk to you before the season does roll around, best of luck to you and everybody at South Florence this year.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, Drew Marlowe, the head coach down there at South Florence High School, has gotten to see both of the Sellers brothers. Again, very hopeful for what LaNorris Sellers is going to be for the team this upcoming year. And we'll dive into that a little bit more coming up here as the Garnet Trust Hour rolls along. He's Chris Clark. I'm Tyler Head, here with you on your Tuesday morning here on The Game.